superhero landing coming up. Oh, fuck. Oh, that is so not practical.
So this is what we're going to make today, a Doom-esque type superhero landing.
You gonna do superhero landing. Wait for it. Woo! Superhero landing. Yeah, that's really hard on your knees.
So first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to open up the third person template and our third person character and dock that. And then we're going to right click and type in on movement mode. And you want on movement mode changed. And then we're going to right click that again and call add to parent and connect each of these across. Then this new movement mode, we're going to grab it, drag it off and get an equals equals enum. And we're checking if the new mode is falling, because that encompasses both jumping and dropping off a ledge, is what we want. We don't just want it to trigger when we jump, we want it to also trigger when we're dropping off. Then we're going to get a branch, so you can drag out from this red pin, press B to get a branch. We want to add a delay, because we don't want it to just be straight away when we're jumping or falling, because if we jump off the ground, we might still be on the edge, not actually over the edge where we're falling. So we're just going to add a short delay of 1 second. And then we need to check if we are still falling if that 1 second is over. So we're going to get this branch and type in is falling and then connect the condition there. And then if that's true, we need to get this character movement here and drag this over. And then we need to compute floor distance. We need to get the capsule component and then get its world location. That's where it's going to start. If we read this, it looks at the distance from the floor to the bottom sphere of capsule components. And then we're going to get this floor result and break it. And we can see here that we get the floor distance. So we need to get this and just promote this to a variable. This will be floor distance. And this line distance we need to put at 1000. The sweep distance at 1100 and the radius at 10. So that's how far it goes should this ever fail, and the sweep is how far it goes down should this ever fail to find. But this is an automatic node that runs when we are in the air and falling now. So now we're going to print, get our print string and put this to false, and we're going to say not falling anymore, just so that we know. And what we could do is we can do another print string here. I'll show you the distance that you've fallen. So if we go into our world, we just need to add a couple of bits. So we're going to grab this, press Control D, and shimmy that over, and then press Control D again. Shimmy that over, just so we've got different heights for where we're going. So if we look here, we're going to run off this small one, jump. It says that our distance from the floor from when we jumped was 33. And if I'm falling, now we're not calculating it because it's not falling anymore. Same for that one. If I drop from this top one, again, we're not falling anymore. But if I jump, it's 180. I'm going to right click and get on landed. Then on landed. And then from this hit result, we're going to break the hit result. And from the top pin, I'm going to get another branch. This floor distance here. We're going to clamp it so that it can't go more than 1000. And we're going to check if it's above 200, greater than 200. And if it is, then we are going to spawn a sound, that location, right click, spawn a decal, that location, and then these two here, this impact point is going to go into location on both of them. And then from sound, we're going to get a select. And from decal material, we're also going to get a select. And from this hit output, we're going to get the physical material. This will be get surface type. Slot those both into there. And this will then play a different sound per surface type, because you might land on some rocks and that sounds different. You might land on some metal and it sounds different. And this will spawn a different decal as well. So you don't want like rocks or dirt flying in the air if you're running on metal. So that's what this does here. So I'll select all of these. C, spawn different sound effects and decal at location based on its material. So that's all the stuff that's under your foot. Okay, so I don't have any of these at the minute. So we're just going to go on to the next bit. I'm going to get a spawn system at location. Again, that's in the impact point. And then this floor distance here, get it. I'm going to divide it by 100. So like if we were dropping from 1,000, because we're clamping this node as well, then it's going to be between 0 and 1,000. So this is only going to trigger if it's above 200. So then we're going to get the minimum would be 200, and our maximum would be 1,000. Divide that by 100, and that's going to set the scale. I'll right click on this scale and split it, put the scale into here, and then that's going to give us sort of our expanding shockwave that's set up to be the radius of our circle that we want. I'm just going to grab this and duplicate it. So grab it and press Ctrl D to duplicate it. Make sure you feed the location in. And then after that, I'm going to do a spear trace for objects. The start will be the location, and the end will also be the location, and the radius will be our return value, so how far away it was, but only to a minimum of 200. Then we're going to look for object types. We're going to make an array. We're going to look for object type pawn and physics body and destructible. From there, we're going to get a branch. This will check if we've actually hit any of those objects. And from there, we're going to apply radial damage with fall off. Our base damage is going to be about 1,000. Our minimum damage is going to be about 10. And then our origin is going to be the location that we get from the start or the end pin. Our outer radius is going to be our flow distance, and our inner radius is going to be 1, and our damage fall off is going to be 1 as well. So this is going to apply damage based on where we land. So if the person sitting next to us is a pawn, then they're going to get 10,000 damage, and then every other person that we hit is also going to get that damage, but depending on where they stand will depend on how much damage they actually receive. So next, we're going to come to the top. We're going to add a radial force. Then we're going to get radial force, and we're going to set the radius. The radius is going to be this floor distance, which I really should change the name of to radius. And then we are going to, from radial force, via impulse. We select radial force. Then we're going to change some numbers in the details. Our radius was set in anyway, so that's fine. We're going to drop this down to linear. We're going to change this to 10,000 and clear both of those. And then the force strength can stay at 10. And our destructible damage we set to 50,000. So it destroys anything that it hits. And that's our basic setup. Now, one thing that we can do, we can get our mesh and get an animation. So play anim montage. And I only want an animation to play if I'm, say, going over 500. So we get a branch. We're going to connect this top one to the spawn system and this false. I'm going to leave that blank, but the second false, I'm going to connect to the spawn system. I'm going to get another more than node from the clamp float, so greater than 500, and connect that. Then we're going to get some animations. So the animation that we're going to use is from Repeat Games, and it is this hero landing animation just here. Send you a link to all his free animations. So once you've got that, you go to import, go to downloads, grab the hero landing animation, import it to Win or Mani, depending on which one you want. Make sure you get the game characters mannequin mesh, not game characters mannequin underscore UE4. We want the new one. I'm going to import that. And then I don't want this bit. Where it's coming here, I don't want that. I just want the land part. So about 0 to 15 or 16, we're going to select it right there, right click, and frames. Next, we're going to go back to the animation, right click it, create an anim montage, and then in our play montages, we're going to select it. So now, I'll come up here, and come up here, and jump off. I don't get to play the montage, but if I come up to this top one, it's another block, and jump off, you can see I'm playing the montage. Now I'm sliding around because I haven't enabled root motion. So if we go back to our sequence, go down and go enable root motion and force root lock. And if we come back to our top one, jump off, I'm not sliding around anymore. As for the VFX, I go to Fab and I go into my library, go to Shockwave, and I can add these easy VFX Shockwave to my project. We're going to right click, get a blueprint class, a character, call this BP enemy, open it up. In the mesh, we're going to get a mannequin, scale money. Come on. And then move him down. Doesn't really matter which way he's going. In the event graph, grab hold of all these and delete them. Right click, prevent any damage. You can print out how much damage he's doing or getting. So print string. And then what you can do is in our mesh, you can do set collision profile name. Change this profile name to ragdoll, capital R, ragdoll. And then from the mesh, we do simulate physics, set simulate physics. And now Go to third person. Let's go third person blueprints. Get our BP enemy. Stick him on the floor there. Go to third person character. And we can find some effects that we can add. So VFX. I want some shockwave distortions. I want the big one. That one. And then VFX, shockwaves, particle. And get that one. And then if we come to this top bit, jump off. There we go. There's our character all messed up. And a shockwave effects. So we're still jumping and dealing a shockwave damage because we're not resetting the Z value here. So we get the set floor distance, set this to 0. Come up here, right click here, jump off. We send him flying and ragdoll. And then when we jump around, we don't get any anymore. We made that a bit too tall to get up. So now jump off again. See that the VFX is smaller in comparison to the big one. Big one. It's quite large. Okay. At that time I actually landed on top of him. But that's how to do a superhero landing with pushback and VFX. And you can spawn different sound effects and details based on where you land, how you land as well. Change our system. So this is the colored one, and this is the distortion that's after it. Then we're tracing for objects to see what hit that's in our vicinity. Then we're applying damage fall off. So the further someone is away, the less damage that they get, and the less force that they get applied to them as well. That one. Yeah. See that guy got blasted away, but that one was slower. Currently both of these enemies are set up to... Oh no, they do print damage. We should see some damage numbers pop up. There we go, 744 and 103. And that's how we do fall off damage and effects as well. Now if you wanted to pack this into something component that you can move around, that's perfectly possible as well. So we're gonna just grab all this, move it down a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to go into our third person, go to blueprints, right click, blueprint class, add to component, EPC, ground pound, that's what I'm going to call it. And we get rid of these two nodes, go back to third person, copy all of this, go back to ground pound and paste it, right click, create a custom event. And we're going to call this floor check. Our floor check needs an input of type movement mode. So movement mode is enum. And this will be our movement type. And then this needs to go into our equals check here. And that needs to be set to falling. And then in third person character, we can add the ground pound component. You see ground pound. We can get the per component and we can do a floor check. And we can feed in this falling node here. And that's the first bit done. Second bit, we just need to grab all of this. Control C, go back to ground pound, Control V. Put that in here. Make a new custom event. So add custom event. And this will be the effects and damage. We feed in the hit component to here. Then attach the effects and damage to the branch. Click compile, we'll get a bunch of errors. That's fine. First one, we just create the variable floor distance. That will get rid of most of them. Second one is this get a mesh. So to do that, we can get owner, get component by type, by class. We want the skeletal mesh. And if we just take a control C of those two nodes, the get owner and get component by class, we're going to use them a lot. Click on the next one, should be get radial force, control V. And then we're going to change the component by class to the radial force component and put the get component by class into targets. Get capsule component, again, control C, well, control V, because it should already be saved. Change this to the capsule component. This one will say capsule collision. It's actually the engine type dot capsule component. I don't know why I did. And then again, and we want to change this to the movement component, specifically the character movement component, and put that one into calculate floor distance, then delete those two. And then we can get character movement. Control V again, get movement, character movement component. Put that into this holding. And that's all of the nodes fixed. Back in third person, we can now just get PPC ground pound and do effects and damage and feed the hit result in here. That's all. Just delete all this. And now we can move this between characters and enemies. And between the projects by just right clicking and taking the bits that we need. It still works perfectly fine. If I come up here and show you, jump down, our ground pound triggers 110 and 680 for the damage. So that makes it more modular and more reusable. Really simple to do.